like, I'm gonna make sure the market is perfect. And I think Dave touched on how the accuracy of the numbers that, well, I gotta know exactly how much this is going to cost and all that before taking action. How many have been guilty of something like this? Here's my other question though. How many of you, if you're honest, when you were successful and you took that risk, you didn't have that conversation in your head in order to take the action? Right? In any, I'm not talking about just real estate, in any area of life, what did you do? You just did it.
Just shut up and do it.
Shut up and do it. Now, I know this sounds trite to some extent where people, you might be thinking like, well, but you don't understand, like I've lost money. How many have lost money in this world here, in real estate or otherwise? And then what happens? What happens in our brain? I'll get a little science to our brain. What happens in our brain when that happens?
Fear.
You get discouraged, fear starts showing up, and it gets wired in our brain. It gets wired in, and then, by the way, it activates our reticular activator system, so what do? We end up going, oh dude, I just lost like 20 grand on this. Like, yeah, I know, me too. You know what, real estate, I'm selling everything now, because we gotta get out now, because who knows what's gonna happen. And then what happens?
You're programming your filter.
You're programming the filter, which keeps it going, and then we start hanging out with other people who think just like whom? Ourselves, to justify it, right? We don't want to be alone in thinking like, oh my gosh, right? And the other challenge is that we don't want to be alone sometimes in thinking that you're badass and you're going to deliver results and you're going to be successful, right? Because then what's the other programming that we have going on? No one in this room has ever done this, but how many of you have seen, well, no, what I'm getting at is we've seen other, because no one here would do this, but we've seen other people talk bad about people who have been successful. Start saying, well, easy for them. Hey, none of them, right? And then, so now what do we do into our brain then? Further programming negativity to being successful. So now you've created this bind. You become frozen because if you take action and you succeed, now you run the risk of being hated on because other people are like, easy for you. Or you take no action and then you lose on missed opportunities. Because how many of you had this happen? You did. You thought at the time you were being smart. You were being pragmatic. You were being good stewards of your capital and missed out on an opportunity because of that paralysis, because of that analysis. And you go, man, had I just taken that action, had I just turned off that fear, turned off that conversation, I would have gotten the success that deal ended up being. How many have had that happen where you just like, because, by the way, here's the other challenge as investors. How long does a great deal, stay on the table?
Not long.
No, not long at all. So now, if you start getting into your paralysis analysis problem, you've lost the deal just by going down that path. Because guess what? The person who's getting results there, deal, option, boom, let's go. And if you think about it, your best successes happened when?
In the beginning.
You just did it. You had that thing. Pardon?
Can't steal in slow motion.
You can't steal in slow motion, right? You get in your head, you're dead. And this is the real challenge, right? I look back, I know Tate didn't share, you guys hear, who's this guy talking in the first place? Or just showing up like, hey, here's what I gotta say. And you're like, who are you? And that's a nice shirt. That's about like, okay. So, yeah, I lost you at nice shirt. So, a brief history. How many of y'all know Tony Robbins? Okay. How many of y'all know who Tony is? Oh, excellent. How many are going to raise your hands no matter what I say? Okay, checking. You think, guys, it's difficult. So, I was blessed with the opportunity to be on the road with Tony for about 4 years. That's how I met Edison in the first place, was at one of these events. I think I may have enrolled him even into coming to a Tony event. We stayed in touch. I'm originally from New York. My first career was in music. And I worked on hundreds of millions of records sold. I won part of the team, we won Grammys for Celine Dion, J-Lo, the soundtrack to the Chicago. So we've had some huge successes, and I started out not knowing what the heck I was going to do. I actually started out thinking, I'm going to learn how to do this. And I immersed myself. So I want to acknowledge you for being here. For being here in this environment, you're immersing yourself with like-minded people. Right? Like, what did you want to get out of it when you came to this experience today? What were you looking to get?
It's a grow my business.
To grow your business, great. Now, by the way, does your business help other people?
Yes.
So you actually came to give,
Yeah, it's a great way of looking at it.
right? I mean, think about it. Like, how many of y'all here, like, if you purchase a property and you sell it, what have you just done? You've made money and
Help somebody.
you helped somebody, you provided a home. If you bought something and you're holding it and you're renting it, now what have you done? Same thing, you provided a home. And oftentimes what gets us stuck is that psychology, because sometimes, no one in this room, but you know people who may have some negative associations to success, that there's an underlying fear that we're gonna be judged for doing well, or we have this underlying fear that it's gonna fail. Either way, or we have this fear, I don't know enough. Oh man, I don't know enough, so I'm gonna wait till I know everything, then I'm gonna take action. Question. For everyone in this room, how many of you are active investors? Have been active? When did you learn the most?
Beginning.
On the job training.
On the job training. You wanna learn? Do it. Now, here's the key though. Everyone in this room also has experience. You've got a great, you came here to say, hey, I'm gonna glean some information. How many of y'all here also wanna learn, like when you hear someone say, oh, I do commercial, you're like, ooh, I wanna step into that. That's something I wanna step into. Right now, I'm just buy and hold. We've got like, 4 small properties. Next step, I'd like to go commercial. I'd like to do 20, 40 units. I don't know how to do it. So what do? I find somebody, or if I'm really serious, I hire somebody to help take that to the next level. Someone who's so busy doing what they're doing that they're willing to dedicate some time, but it's gotta be worth their while. And guess what happens? When you do that, when you take that time and when you pay attention. Right? That's why the bus isn't free.